Well, what? Welcome back to another Pokemon Master video. Today we'll be tackling Grass Tower. Grass Tower, indeed. This again, I always record these videos a little bit differently. Usually, I talk about my sequencing, because sequencing is everything in Pokemon Masters. If you have good sequencing, then you can make a lot of teams work even in situations where they might not look like they work. And a good example of this is Auto. If you play Auto in Pokemon Masters, the sequencing is atrocious, absolutely atrocious. And so that's why, for end game content, you will never be able to get away with Auto, because Auto just doesn't. It's good if you just need to farm and you don't want to press any buttons. It's great, but in terms of content, Auto is a great example of why sequencing is super important, right? And sequencing is very important when it comes to these type of to Pokemon Masters. But honestly, when it comes to Grass Tower, I don't really think that your sequencing is that important. Now, the reason why I say this is because it's mainly vibes based. like your battle is really determined on vibes. What do I mean by this is that you just have to go with the flow. I don't think the runs are really going to be similar, because you're using Lyra. So you're gonna suit Lyra. I could be wrong, but I think she was the first, and I might be wrong about the only, but she's for sure the first character that can always consistently flinch. Lyra is the consistent flincher. She literally always flinches if the enemy is able to be flinched, which makes her incredibly strong. Not only that, but her flinching, it's really weird, because her flinching, she can always input a move after she flinches a target. Now, this is a mechanic that I've known about Lyra for a long time. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm gonna mention it here. But sometimes when you flinch with, one of your sync pairs, you can't input a move because, let's say the enemy is using a damaging move. Flinching only affects damaging move. It doesn't affect sync moves or trainer moves, right? But when you flinch something and they're using a damage move, for example Giga Impact, then Giga Impact gets shut down because they're flinching, and then that Pokemon might use a trainer move, or more likely another Pokemon is going to use a damage move, like the Pokemon, the next Pokemon in the sequence. That could be left or right, it just really depends. But usually when you flinch, that move happens instantly, so you're unable to attack with whatever that Pokemon that flinched the enemy. You can't attack with them again. With Lyra, it's basically 100% consistent that whenever you flinch with her Grassy Glide, you can always use another attack with her, which means not only does Lyra 100% flinch, but she can 100% do a flinch chain. Basically, if you know the enemy sequencing, because usually the enemy goes middle Pokemon, and then the right Pokemon, and then middle Pokemon, and then left Pokemon, and then middle Pokemon, right Pokemon, and then it goes back and forth. And if one of them can attack, then it'll skip whatever that was, right? So Lyra, if you know that the sequencing is going to be middle Pokemon attacks first, and then the right Pokemon attacks first, and then the left Pokemon attacks first, she can flinch the middle Pokemon, and then you can retarget to that right Pokemon and use Grassy Glide before that right Pokemon can use a move, and then you flinch that Pokemon, and then you can go ahead and flinch the left Pokemon with Grassy Glide before the left Pokemon can input a move. All the while using moves with your other two Pokemon so that you can accelerate the sync move countdown. So Lyra is really strong in the sense that 1, she 100% flinches, 2, she can always get that attack in right after she flinches, which is what I'm gonna call the flinch cheese. Again, I don't know if I've ever explicitly said those words or if I've ever mentioned it in the description, but I consider that the flinch cheese, how she can input a move right after she flinches. I've talked about this for the longest time, but the sync move cheese, which is something you might be familiar with, is after you use a sync move and you can input a move with that Pokemon that uses a sync move before the enemy can use a move. That's called the sync move cheese. At least that's what I call it. And then with Lyra, she has a 100% rate of flinch cheesing. Because of that, you're gonna be flinching, and so the order, the sequencing is basically based off of what your opponent has doing. So instead of grassy tower, like your sequence is important, I would say that for grass tower, it's mainly your enemy's sequencing is important if you're using Lyra. Honestly, if you're not using Lyra, then I think grass tower will be significantly more difficult, but I'm sure it's possible without Lyra. But I'm gonna be talking about Lyra because I have her for like, I had her since her release, because 100% flinch rate, come on, that's unheard of in Pokemon Masters. And I didn't even realize that she can flinch cheese consistently until I rolled for her. So yeah, that's kind of the main thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to this run. And when I say like your sequencing isn't important, but knowing the opponent's sequencing, that's important for flinch cheesing, because sometimes when you, for example, when you flinch something, the next move, you have to know whether it's the right Pokemon that's going to use the move or the left Pokemon that's going to use the move. If you flinch the middle Pokemon, and if you flinch the left or right Pokemon, more likely than not the middle Pokemon is going to be using the move, right? So honestly, it's important to know your own sequencing, but for Grass Tower, it's really important if you're going to be using Lyra to know the enemy sequencing. Also, sometimes, because every time you flinch them, they get a flinch resistance, they get a like a condition resistance. They can't be affected by status condition or status changes for a brief moment of time. It's important not to waste your flinches. For example, if you know that they're not going to be using a damaging move, but they're going to be using a buff move, or for example, they're going to use a sync move, you don't want to flinch them at that time, because they'll gain resistance and then you'll be wasting kind of, you know, the flinch timing. And so because of that, if you know your enemy's attacking sequence and what attacks they'll use, you can kind of better plan your flinches out with Lyra. Again, she can 100% flinch, and because of that, you should be able to kind of plan your flinch, you know, timing to a T. So that's why it's important to know your enemy's kind of moveset and their move sequencing. And so for Grass Tower, if you're gonna be using Lyra, like if you're having trouble with, you know, getting your runs good, then I definitely recommend like studying the enemy's kind of moveset and what moves they like to use at certain times, so that you can kind of know when to use your flinching with Lyra. It's really important in my opinion. And of course, whenever you flinch with Lyra, you better make sure that you're inputting attacks with your other Pokemon, so that you can sneak damage in. And it's, yeah, so again, flinching is the name of the game when it comes to Grassy Tower if you're going to be using Lyra. And yeah, that's basically what I want to talk about when it comes to the flinching. For this run, it's, again, I am lucky to have the characters that I have the right characters on my account to be able to complete Grass Tower. At the time of recording this, I haven't completed 430 yet. I haven't even attempted it yet, but I just wanted to record this video because I've already recorded all the clips from 21 to 29. So I want to, you know, make the video, upload it to YouTube, so that I have free up storage on my computer. So I haven't done 430 yet, but I have been able to do 430 or 21 to 29 with the characters I have. Again, like I mentioned, I'm lucky that all these characters that I scouted for are characters that I wanted for one reason or another, and so it's nice that I have all the right characters for it. You know, I think some people have the mix Scout Red with Venusaur. I have no idea what that character does, but it's a mixed Scout, so it's probably going to be strong. And I know, like, I think it's Palantine Erica or like New Year's Erica or something, but there's an Erica with it's not Fomantis, it's Fomantis' evolution. It's like Erica with the Mantis Pokemon, seasonal Erica with the Mantis Pokemon, and I know she's really strong too. So if you have those characters, it's really strong, but I don't have those characters. I'm using, of course, let's start off with Lyra. I'm gonna start talking about the characters and in what investment level I have them in. But of course, I initially wrote Lyra because of 100% flinching. So I chose her over Ethan, and what's the other character? I forgot her name. Ethan and Chris. So yeah, they released Signal Suit Ethan, Chris, and Lyra all as Master Fairs, and I chose Lyra because of 100% flinching. I never upgraded her more than one copy. A lot of people I notice on like the Grass Tower replays have Chris at like 3 out of 5 copies. I've even seen 5 out of 5 copies. Not Chris, I'm sorry, Lyra. Signal Suit Lyra doesn't get much from her sync grid. Like, sure, she gets a little bit more damage, and yes, she can lower defense more consistently, but she doesn't get grass zone extension from her sync grid. So that's why I never ended up upgrading Chris. I keep saying Chris. I never ended up upgrading Signal Suit Lyra to more than 1 out of 5 copies, just because I felt that the sync grid was super low value. I'm using Lyra at 1 out of 5 copies, and honestly, that's good enough. The reason why I say that's good enough is because flinch, dude. That's all you need. All you need is flinch. It's that flinch. So she also doesn't do that much damage. So I see some people play with certain lucky skills with her, like they use Weather Warrior, because if you pair her up with Adamant, then you basically always have Sunny Day, and so you can always get Weather Warrior bonus with Lyra. Or you can use Head Start with Lyra, so that you can accelerate that sync move countdown early on, so that you can, you know, progress better on later into the fight. But I have been fortunate enough to have Lyra's special lucky skill, because in Pasio Tower, there are special cookies that give you really strong lucky skills, and Lyra is one of these characters, and so I actually have that lucky skill on Lyra. And so even though my Lyra is only at 1 copy, because she has this really special lucky skill, she is super strong. That lucky skill, for those who don't know, makes it so that her grassy zone lasts longer, so it extends her grassy zone. Not only that, but when she is summoned, she also summons grassy zone. So that makes Lyra super strong, because she summons Grassy Zone when she is on the field, which means that she can immediately use Grassy Glide for free. Because recall, Grassy Glide is free, like you can use it for free as long as Grassy Zone is up. And she is able to extend Grassy Zone, which means that Grassy Zone uptime is just longer, so that you can do more damage with your grass moves. So because of that lucky skill, again, it's Signal Suit Lyra's serious effort or effect or whatever it was that you just saw there. She's super strong. Now, if you don't have that lucky skill on her, because it is a very RNG lucky skill, then if you don't have it, then you need grass extension elsewhere, which is where I will talk about Adamant. I think I use Adamant on this run. Yes, I will use Adamant on this run. But Adamant at 5 out of 5 copies, you see I'm literally upgrading him to 4 out of 5 copies right now. But at 5 out of 5 copies, he gets the passive in which he is able to summon Grassy Zone when he is sent first on the field, and he extends Grassy Zone. So a lot of people have Adamant or using Adamant at 5 out of 5 copies so that they can get Grass Zone extension. Because I have Lyra's lucky skill that extends that, I am able to just use Adamant at 4 copies, because at 4 copies he does extra damage and like Sun, I think, and that's really good for my damage. So a lot of people have Adamant at 5 out of 5 copies. I want to see if I can get away with only using Adamant at 4 out of 5 copies. And I mean, again, I haven't done floor 30 yet, but I'm gonna give it a shot and see how it goes. But Adamant is super strong in the sense that he is able to always summon Sunny Day, which means that he's able to take advantage of the Weather Warrior 3, which is super strong. But on top of that, he just does a ton of damage. The problem with Adamant is that he isn't a striker, and he doesn't have the striker EX roll. And so for Grassy Tower, at least with my setup, your main damage dealers are kind of not AoE, because Adamant isn't AoE. So because of that, it's a lot weaker. If Adamant was a striker, then oh my goodness, like Grass Tower would probably be very easy with Adamant. But because he isn't a striker, you're really gonna have to sequence him so that you do enough damage on all the Pokemon. His sync move does do a ton of damage though, and so you should be able to kind of deal a lot of damage to the middle Pokemon and then deal damage to like the side Pokemon. He's also able to apply rebuff, grass rebuff, which also increases all your Pokemon's damage, which is super strong. So Adamant is basically just doing a lot of damage. Again, a single target, and so you're gonna be targeting the side Pokemon and using sync moves on the side Pokemon before you defeat the middle Pokemon, so that, because when you defeat the middle Pokemon, the side Pokemon start doing a ton of damage. So you're gonna want to split your damage with Adamant, but he's super strong in that sense. And again, he is able to extend Grassy Zone or Grass Terrain. I keep saying Grassy Zone probably, but it's Grass Terrain. He's able to extend Grass Terrain if you have him at 5 out of 5 copies, which is strong, right? And then of course Carmine, I forgot to mention. So I rolled for Adamant because I rolled for Irida and skipped Adamant when they first released. But after playing story, I really like Adamant as well. I rolled for Irida because I really needed a good ice character on my account. At the time when I rolled for Irida, I didn't have Anniversary Red, because Anniversary Red with Articuno, Neo Champion Red, I should be more specific, wasn't released in the game. And so I really needed a good ice type, and so I rolled for Irida and I skipped Adamant because I think I already had like Lyra when I rolled for Adamant. But then when Adamant got a rerun, I definitely wanted to roll for Adamant because I just like the character, and that's why I have him at 3 out of 5 copies, and I upgraded him 4 out of 5 copies just for Grass Tower. I also upgraded him to level 200 because he is the main damage dealer. I do want him to be level 200 so I can squeeze out the extra damage, and that's pretty important. He also is pretty frail, and so sometimes he might die easy, so it's nice for that to have the extra HP. Someone who doesn't die easy is Carmine. I just made a video on Poison Tower, and if you saw my Pokemon Scarlet playthrough, I really do like Carmine. I already talked about like the whole Carmine and Chiron thing, so if you want to know more about that, then you have to watch my Pokemon Scarlet DLC videos. But I really like Carmine, and so when Carmine was out, I didn't roll for Carmine immediately. Actually, I think I waited a little bit, like I think after a certain data mine, then I rolled for Carmine, because I was willing to skip Carmine. I think it was Anniversary actually. I was willing to skip Carmine of Anniversary of 2025. Anniversary was really good. But I ended up rolling for Carmine, and I didn't realize when I rolled for Carmine how good she was. I mean, I rolled for her because it's Carmine and I liked her, but I didn't realize how she was basically indestructible. Her Matcha Gacha does so much damage and it does so much healing. Like, if she cannot get one shot, she basically always fully heals herself with her attack, which is super strong. And she's able to summon Grassy Terrain as well, which is her main purpose, is basically summoning Grassy Terrain and healing herself. And she also has passes in her sync grid that makes her heal allies as well every time she uses a move. Not only that, but she has flinch potential. So if you don't have Lyra, and you have Carmine, she has Astonish, which I think on her sync grid she can also get like that aggravation, which makes it so that she's more likely to flinch with her Astonish. So Carmine is actually low-key super strong too, if you don't have Carmine, or if you don't have Lyra, because she can flinch as well. And yes, her Matcha Gacha is also AoE and does a ton of damage. Not only that, but every time she attacks, she buffs everybody. And so you don't need to buff with Lyra. Like, you don't need Lyra to buff herself, because Carmine can buff Lyra just by attacking. And then Carmine also buffs herself. So she just does everything super well. Not only that, but she has more utility with her, believe it or not. She attacks for free, which is nice because Matcha Gacha costs 3 move gauge, so attacking for free is good. But also she can burn. Burn is one of the best status conditions in the game because it's permanent, right? A lot of status, I think all of the status changes are, or I shouldn't say all the status, yeah, all the status changes are not permanent. flinching barely lasts anything. Confusion and trap do eventually wear off. And then for status conditions are pretty strong, especially the permanent ones, which is paralysis, burning, and poison. But burning has the utility of your opponent doing less physical damage, which is super nice. And so because Carmine's able to burn, I noticed that it makes it so that your lucky gear, your skill gear, you're able to get away with, if you're attacking an enemy that's has a status condition, you do more sync move damage, or you do more move damage. And so because of Carmine, I was able to kind of utilize really good gear because she burns, and I get to kind of take advantage of lucky skills and increase my sync move damage with Adamant and everybody. So Carmine is great because she just does so many things, and like I said, she's indestructible basically, because Matcha Gacha always heals her to full, and if Matcha Gacha doesn't heal her to full, then Grassy Terrain heals her, and then she also has a passive which heals every time she attacks, and she just has a ton of healing. She also has a Terror move which inflicts, or which brings up Grassy Terrain as well, and that Terror move also does a ton of damage, and so there's a bunch of stuff there too. But now that I've talked about all the characters for the specific team that I'm going to bring into floor 30, which I haven't done yet, it's because, again, I said that Grass Tower is basically vibes based, and when I say vibes based, not only do you have to figure out when is a good time to flinch, but you also have to figure out when is a good time to use Grassy Terrain. So that's the most important thing is flinch timing, and then the second most important thing is Grassy Terrain, because you always want Grassy Terrain up so that you're doing maximum damage with your damage dealer, right, Adamant. That's why having Lyra and having Carmine together is a great combo, because both of them can summon Grassy Terrain. Lyra can summon Grassy Terrain like 3 times if you sync with her, but you probably don't want to sync with her. You'll probably want to sync with like your actual damage dealer. So she basically summons Grassy Terrain twice, and then Carmine's able to summon it 3 times with I should say 4 times actually, because Carmine's able to summon it twice with Grassy Terrain, once with her Terror move and once from her Sync move, because I think she is a support and then a EX roll of field. I think Lyra is also EX roll field, so they're able to summon Grassy Terrain a lot. And even though your Grassy Terrain is going to be extended with, for example, with Lyra's lucky skill, with Adamant's 5 out of 5 sync grid passive, even though you're able to extend Grassy Terrain, you still want to always keep it up. And you always, like, because both Carmine and Lyra can summon Grassy Terrain, you kind of want to time it well, right? For example, you kind of want to make sure if all the enemies can't be flinched, like they all have flinch nullification, like that they're unflinchable, then you want to be using Grassy Terrain with Lyra, right? But if you're fully healed with Carmine and they're not really going to do damage to you, then you can use Grassy Terrain with Carmine so that you can free up your Lyra. So both of them being able to flinch opens up a lot of possibilities for like what you want to do, right? You can always have your flincher free, or you can always have your healer tank free. So that's why Carmine and Lyra make such a good combo, right? And that's them. Again, for my run, I had Carmine and Lyra both unlock their lucky skill, both unlocked their EX roll, and both had them at level 180. I don't feel the need to upgrade them to 120, especially Lyra, because she doesn't really do that much damage. And Carmine, she heals enough for herself, so as long as she's not getting one shot, then she's fine at whatever copy she's at. And so that talks about my main team, but I haven't talked about the there's one more piece to all of this, and that's my special attacker. So perfect timing, we're going on to floor 25 here, I think. But because Adamant is my physical attacker and Lyra's also a physical attacker, I need a character that can tackle the floors in which the opponent can't take physical attacks. Now, granted, Carmine is great on floors where they can't take physical attacks because she can actually do damage and heal. On the floors where enemies can't take physical damage, Carmine actually does struggle a little bit because she can't fully heal herself with matcha gacha, but she is able to heal a good amount because of grassy terrain, and again, that passive that heals everybody whenever she uses matcha gacha. So it's like she's able to heal herself pretty well. But for my special attacker, I am using Marley. Why did I roll for, I think this is Palatine Marley? Is it Palatine Marley? I rolled for Palatine Marley because of Shaman. I think Shaman was cute. And I also kind of like Marley as a character. She doesn't get a lot of love in Gen 4, but I think Marley is, you know, cool enough. I mean, they haven't even released the Hitochan guy, but regardless. Marley is my special attacker. She is not even a striker sync pair. I think she's a sprint sync pair. And I do have her EX roll unlocked because her EX roll is support, and so she's a sprint support character, which is super strong. But I literally only have her at 1 out of 5 copies, and I was able to complete all the floors I needed with Marley, 1 out of 5 Marley. So yes, my clear of, I think it was floor 28 or something, used 1 out of 5 Marley, 1 out of 5 Lyra, and 3 out of 5 Carmine. So super low investment team. None of those characters were level 120 or level 200. Of course, all of them had their EX roll unlocked, and yeah. So if you see people using their Super Awakened character, you see people using their mixed red with Venusaur, that's literally, you have to pay for him. That team with 1 out of 5 Marley, 1 out of 5 Lyra, 3 out of 5 Carmine. Again, those are all limited characters, but still, it's still a pretty impressive clear in my book. But enough glazing. Marley's good because she does tons of damage. Like, her buddy move just hits everybody for a ton of damage. Blessed Seed Flare apparently is what it's called. It hits everybody. It does a ton of damage. It also lowers special defense, which means that she's able to do more damage. And so Marley is able to just do a lot of damage. Not only that, but she has Sinnoh Analysis, which is not only able to reduce the sync move countdown by a lot, but it also greatly increases her damage too. And so what I do is I like to save the Sinnoh Analysis, the Sinnoh Circle, for later on in the fight when I can take advantage of the extra damage. And yeah, that's basically it with Marley. Like, Marley is, in more ways, in some ways, she's actually feels better to use than Adaman. I say this because Adaman is only single targeting. So with Adaman, you kind of have to think, okay, I need to switch to this target after a certain while so that I can, you know, defeat the side Pokemon. But with Marley, you can kind of just always use her Blessed Seed Flare, and it hits everybody for like a good amount of damage. I will say the thing about Marley, the big problem with her is that even though her Blessed Seed Flare does a ton of damage, her sync move doesn't do a lot of damage. Now, I think if you have her at 3 out of 5 copies, then her sync move can start doing a lot of damage. But it's mainly her Seed Flare that does a lot of damage. And as you see here, I synced with Lyra and Celebi. I don't even know who does more damage, 1 out of 5 Lyra or 1 out of 5 Marley. I think their sync moves both do kind of the same amount of damage. And so honestly, you can kind of interchange them, of like, I want to sync with Marley now, I want to sync with Lyra now. But if you're using my teams, then it's like, yeah, the sync move does like no damage, and so you're mainly relying on your normal moves. But again, keep in mind that if you're using Marley, that means that you're on a floor that you need to use, or that you can't use physical attackers. And in that case, your Carmine is actually doing a ton of damage too. Like, even though Blessed Seed Flare and Marley is doing a lot of damage, don't forget that the Matcha Gacha from Carmine is also doing a lot of damage. And so the floors that you can't use physical moves, you know, are not that difficult simply because Carmine is also doing damage if you have Carmine. I think that kind of covers it, just talking about all the characters. Again, for this tower, I had like Selby with Lyra at 1 copy, I had Marley at 1 copy, and those characters stayed at 1 copy. I did not upgrade them further, because again, I don't feel like Lyra is worth upgrading, because she doesn't really get much in her sync grid. So when I see people have her at 5 out of 5 copies, I'm like super confused. I'm like, why did you do that? Carmine have 3 out of 5 copies. You can super awaken her, but I feel like at 3 out of 5 copies, I think for me, she has been good so far. And then Adamant, I did upgrade him once from 3 out of 5 copies to 4 out of 5 copies just to increase his damage. And because he's my main damage dealer, I did upgrade him to level 200. So all in all, not a lot of investment. I did use a move candy, and I did use some plaques of perfection, and I did use technically I didn't use any EX cakes, EX rolls, because I kind of already unlocked all of their EX rolls, because I really like Marley, so I already unlocked her EX roll before this. Lyra, I already unlocked her EX roll previously as well, because we just don't have that many tech fields. And so I just needed more text fields, because I can't just keep using Thunderbolt Red for Battle Rally. I need to use another character. So I have Lyra for that. But anyways, yes, it's like very low investment team, and I want to see if I can complete floor 30. I'm yet to do that at the time of recording this, but wish me luck, and hopefully I can get that floor done. Again, it might take me a lot of tries, as I am trying to learn the sequencing of everything. Like I mentioned earlier on in this video, the sequencing is going to be super important. But yeah, again, super proud that I was able to complete all the special attack floors with Morley at 1 out of 5 copies. And you'll see later that run was pretty close too. But anyways, thank you for watching. You're beautiful the way you are. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, my replay was on the thing. This is my first time that I saw my replay on the Pokemon Master replay feature. I had replays previously, but I just didn't notice. But it's nice seeing that my kind of low investment Marley run is on the replay for y'all to watch. Thank you for watching, beautiful the way you are, and next time, floor 30 Grass Tower. Let's get it.
Alright, let's do this! Ready! It's time! All out! We'll end it! It's time! Big Dazzle! Right there! Let's do this! Go on! do this. Get him. Did we get squashed?
I gotta see what's in your heart.
Here we go! Together!
Right there!
Stay dazzled. Get him.
Hang tight!
Go on. That's it. Leave it to me, child.
Hang tight! I got this!
Go on.
Hang tight!
Let's do this.
Time to finish this!
Go on. Get him. Go on. Let's do this.
Dazzle them!
Hang tight!
Go on. Let's do this.
Keep your wits about you, child!
Go on. Let's do this.
My, impressive!
Hang tight! see what's in your heart. Let's do this! Come on!
Here we go. It's together. All out. Here we go. Here goes. It's time. Great dazzle. This feels strange. Get him. There. Go on. That's it.
Here goes!
Let's do this. Get him. Here I come. Will this work? Go on. Let's do this. Will this work? Go on. Let's do this. You will know what hit you. Let's do this.
This will be great fun. Now!
Dazzle!
Right there!
Get him! Go on!
Hang tight!
That's it!
Leave it to me!
Hang tight!
cute clothes.
I gotta see what's in your heart.